The situation on the island was utterly chaotic. Frankie's group was blocked from escaping by the vice admirals, while Sanji was trying to get Vegapunk's body to safety. On the other side, Nusjuro continued to take down the last active cyborgs. His speed was so great that the pacifistas, even after detecting their targets, couldn't react in time to attack. Seizing the opportunity, the Marines mobilized their entire force to bombard Egghead Island once more. This time, their goal was to wipe out the entire area, leaving the Straw Hat Pirates no escape. Nusjuro never expected that Bonney, a mere 12-year-old girl, would be entrusted by Vegapunk with enough power to destroy an entire nation. He considered the doctor a foolish traitor. Meanwhile, the remaining giants had begun to return to their ship. The order from the Gorosei was to sink the Elbaf ship to prevent anyone from escaping. Cornered, Bonney was forced to fight to protect Kuma. The first to engage the Vice Admiral was Frankie. His opponent possessed a steam-powered arm, but Frankie's steel arm was stronger, and he quickly defeated his foe. Immediately after, another Vice Admiral targeted Bonney. The girl asked the accompanying giant to take care of her father, then plunged straight into battle. When her opponent called Kuma a weapon, Bonnie's anger erupted. Using her devil fruit power, she transformed him into a child. The Vice Admiral tried to beg for forgiveness, but Bonney, who was also just a little girl, didn't hesitate to teach him a lesson he wouldn't forget. As she attacked, she shouted, "My father is a hero! Take back what you just said." Atlas also quickly rushed in to assist, delivering a punch that sent the third Vice Admiral flying. She asked where Luffy and the others were. If they hadn't arrived yet, the group would have to temporarily retreat. However, Frankie suggested defeating all three Vice Admirals before their comrades arrived. Despite being defeated, the Vice Admirals were still seasoned warriors with astonishing resilience. The scene shifted to Marcus Mars. With his colossal body, he terrified York to the point of tears, constantly begging for her life and crying out, "I don't taste good. Please don't eat me." Marcus Mars angrily roared, but the girl continued to cry. Finally, he broke her shackles, freeing York to calm her down. Then, Marcus Mars asked York to take him to the room appearing on the screen, where Vegapunk was broadcasting the video. Since York was also one of Vegapunk's clones, she must know the location. Having no other choice, Marcus Mars used his massive beak to grab York's body and flew off. Meanwhile, the video Vegapunk had prepared was still playing. However, he had not yet revealed the most important thing, perhaps waiting for the right moment. Shaka asked, "Aren't you having coffee?" Vegapunk replied calmly, "I'm very sensitive to hot things." Only 4 minutes remained before he would reveal the truth about the world. At the same time, Marcus Mars had brought York to a room that looked exactly like the one in the video. She confirmed, "This is it. They filmed here." Hearing this, the giant bird opened its mouth, blowing out a powerful stream of fire, incinerating everything around. He believed that if he destroyed everything, Vegapunk's broadcast would be cut off. York frantically rushed to stop him, shouting that destroying this place was useless, because the video was still playing, proving the transmission device was not here. She began to deduce if she put herself in Vegapunk's shoes, he would surely hide the original device somewhere safer. But if Marcus Mars continued to wreak havoc, the consequences would be extremely serious. She warned that the second floor of the building was the weapon deployment area, the first floor was the energy plant, and the third floor was filled with high-pressure gas cylinders. If those exploded simultaneously, all of Punk Records will be blown away. Hearing this, Marcus Mars asked York to think of a solution. She nodded, saying that she would end this stupid broadcast immediately. Just then, Marcus Mars suddenly sensed a sound coming from a small creature. Most likely, the snail messenger. This proved that the room containing Vegapunk's original recording was very close. He immediately asked York to take him there. Meanwhile, inside another building, Stussy could finally breathe a sigh of relief as the giant monster had spared them. She realized that the giant bird was one of the 5 elders, Gorosei. Her teammate beside her also trembled, gasping for breath and joking awkwardly. "Were you abandoned?" Hearing this, Stussy just gave a faint smile. "No need to pity me. I voluntarily stayed to finish the last task." Elsewhere, Nami's group received news that they had to leave Stussy behind. Edison explained that there was no other choice, as someone needed to lower the shield just as the ship escaped. The Frontier Dome system could only be deactivated from the control room, and Stussy had voluntarily taken on that task. Everyone could only accept it. "The best way to thank her," Edison said, "is for all of us to get out of here together." Edison reassured her. "I've calculated everything. This ship will fall straight to the ground, but we still have a chance to land safely." Upon hearing this, Nami and Chopper burst into tears, while the other members announced that the propulsion system was ready. They just needed to wait for Zoro and Jinbei to return. Then they could all jump into the sea. However, Chopper was still worried that this wouldn't be enough to reach the sea surface. Edison laughed, thinking their ship was troublesome. But he also added, "It's that determined spirit that creates miracles. I'm just a scientist, but I believe in you all." He guaranteed that the ship would land safely on the water. After saying this, Lilith suddenly realized something and quickly tried to stop him, but Edison was determined. He immediately flew towards the shield, despite the desperate screams of his friend behind him. According to his calculations, upon impact with the shield, his body would suffer 78% damage. "That's not enough to kill me," Edison said. As soon as he touched the shield, a huge explosion rang out. Those who witnessed it could only stand frozen in shock and pain. Outside the coast, a strange phenomenon was occurring. All the Navy warships were suddenly pulled strongly towards Egghead Island. The reason was Jew Peter. He continuously sucked everything around him into his body. The terrifying suction force made Dorry and Brogy unable to move, and even Luffy, in his Sun God Nika state, was held tight, unable to budge. In this critical situation, Luffy quickly thought of a way. He grabbed Brogy's arm, using the momentum to fly straight up. Nearby, he discovered a building just large enough to stuff into the giant sandworm's mouth. Luffy cut the building in half, lifted it with his muscular form, and shouted, "If you're hungry, eat these buildings!" After saying that, he threw the giant concrete block straight into the opponent's throat. The attack, with terrifying power, made the monster collapse on the spot. Thanks to this, the three of them had a chance to continue fleeing. However, using too much strength caused Luffy's body to return to its old man state. Brogy asked in surprise what had happened. Luffy gasped, saying that he had almost run out of energy from food. Hearing about food, the two giants remembered that they had brought some fermented shark, the emergency food of the giant race. Its smell was so strong that Luffy grimaced, but to regain his strength, he still decided to eat it. Dorry laughed and said, "Once you get used to it, you'll find it delicious." Indeed, after just a few bites, Luffy's body fully recovered, becoming as strong as before. Seeing this, Dorry laughed and said, "Your body is so simple. Just eat, and you're strong again." But their joy was short-lived. Warcurry, with the body of a giant pig, caught up with them. Brogy warned Luffy to stay away, but he chose to stay and fight. "Once I'm full, I'm not afraid of anything," Luffy shouted, then leaped high, activating Gear 3rd, creating a giant fist to attack Warcurry. The terrible collision stunned Warcurry, but Luffy also screamed in pain. The pig's body was as hard as steel. The two giants, seeing this, urged, "Retreat! Don't let these monsters catch up." At the same time, in the research area, Lilith was silently expressing her sorrow for Edison. However, they had no time to grieve, because, at that moment, Saturn suddenly appeared, putting everyone in danger. Below, Bonney's group had finally defeated the three vice-admirals. The accompanying giant invited them onto the ship, but the very next second, he was slashed by Nusjuro's sword. His sudden appearance left everyone frozen in fear. The scene shifts to Vegapunk's secret room. Thanks to York, Marcus Mars finally found his way there. As expected, the original Den Den Mushi was there. Marcus Mars let out a cold laugh, saying that Vegapunk's luck had run out, then raised his arm, preparing to destroy the device immediately. Speaking to the whole world for the first time made Vegapunk a little flustered. However, the waiting time was over, so he calmly began his speech. Meanwhile, Marcus Mars discovered something astonishing. The world's greatest brain was being stored right here. Even though Vegapunk's original body had died, the brain continued to exist. It contained all of humanity's knowledge, and its current size was as large as a building. While Marcus Mars was distracted, the transponder snail tried to crawl away to escape, but it was too slow and was still caught by him. In the video playing, Dr. Vegapunk said that many people might not believe what he was about to reveal, but this broadcast would surely make the whole world listen and unite. The scene shifted to the East Blue, Usopp's hometown. There, children were intently listening to stories about Dr. Vegapunk, the person who had created countless great inventions that changed the world. Although they couldn't see his image, they could hear his voice transmitted through the radio waves, and everyone was curious to know what the secret of the world was. Vegapunk also made significant contributions in the field of medicine, so he had a profound global influence. At this moment, the Marines were trying their best to stop the broadcast, but the signal continued to spread everywhere. In a distant sea, the whale Laboon surfaced. On its massive body were intricate scars and the familiar skull symbol of the Straw Hat Pirates. In the future land, Vegapunk's hometown, everyone was intently watching the screen, eagerly waiting to hear what their genius scientist would say. For the people there, Vegapunk was a great source of pride. A child wondered, didn't he cause the nightmare in Baltimore? The old man next to him shook his head, gently explaining that it wasn't Vegapunk, but Frankie, who had transformed his own body into machinery. In the South Blue, where Chopper once honed his skills, the island residents also received news about Vegapunk. They discussed him, the father of modern science, who contributed to the creation of countless advanced weapons. Meanwhile, on Hachinosu Pirate Island, the situation became chaotic. Everyone's attention was drawn to the broadcast. Everyone was eager to know, what exactly is the secret of the world? Back in the laboratory, Marcus Mars crushed the transponder snail to cut off the broadcast. But what he didn't expect was that Vegapunk had anticipated this. That snail was just a fake. The broadcast continued as planned. Marcus Mars was furious at being tricked, immediately transformed into a giant bird, and flew off, determined to find the real live broadcasting device. Around him, the scene was only ruined buildings, with no trace to identify the broadcast location. The next scene shifted to where Luffy and the two giants were trying to escape. Behind them, Warcurry was still relentlessly pursuing. No matter how many times it was defeated, the monster recovered, as if it had never been injured. Warcurry contacted Marcus Mars, asking if he had found the broadcasting device yet. The giant bird replied that Vegapunk had hidden it too well. The Gorosei began to worry. If things continued, all the world government's secrets would be exposed. Marcus Mars swore he would find it, but needed more time. Saturn urged him to quickly destroy the device, but Marcus Mars said that Vegapunk had prepared very carefully, so it couldn't be easily disconnected. They didn't know exactly what Vegapunk intended to say, but York had revealed that he had taken over Ohara's research. Hearing this, Warcurry and Saturn thought he was seeking revenge for the Ohara tragedy of the past. Meanwhile, Sanji was still trying to get Vegapunk's body to safety. Suddenly, he sensed Bonney was in danger and immediately changed direction to help. Nusjuro declared that he would not let Bonney get the Marine's weapons, but Frankie resolutely stood up to protect her. Just then, Sanji appeared and plunged into the battle. Nusjuro's sword slowly rose. In a dangerous moment, Sanji kicked to block the blow, then counterattacked with a powerful kick to the chin, making his opponent spit blood. He declared, "No one is allowed to hurt her." Flames raged fiercely around Nusjuro's body, but he did not stop. Nusjuro transformed into a giant horse, biting Sanji tightly. Vegapunk's body fell, fortunately caught by Atlas in time. Bonney worried about Sanji, but could do nothing. The two below continuously dodged the terrifying stomps from the giant horse. Fortunately, Oimo and Kashi appeared just in time. After realizing that the other group were allies of the Straw Hat Pirates, they immediately rushed to assist, holding Nusjuro's body tightly so Sanji could escape. However, the opponent's strength was too great, causing even the two giants to struggle. Seeing this, Bonney transformed into a giant form, joining them in battle. Nusjuro transformed back into human form, continuously slashing with his sword. But Bonney, with the advantage of her giant size, did not flinch. During the broadcast, Vegapunk admitted that he had committed 2 major crimes, so he might be arrested or executed. That's why he recorded this video and set it to play automatically when his heart stopped beating, which meant he was dead. The news stunned the whole world. Everywhere, those watching were shocked. 2 former colleagues who had tried to overthrow Vegapunk also couldn't understand why he chose this path. Vegapunk said that no matter who executed him, he would not consider them evil. In Nami's area, the Straw Hat crew was facing Saturn. His giant and terrifying body made everyone panic. Saturn asked them to get out of the way, because he didn't want to waste time. Lilith and Brook rushed over, calling on everyone to stop the monster. Chopper tried to take Robin to safety, but she refused, determined to stay. In Robin's mind, the voice of the one who had ordered the destruction of Ohara still echoed. The opponent quickly recognized her as Nico Robin, the last survivor of Ohara, and the one Akainu had failed to kill. Nami was surprised, not understanding why the opponent knew Robin's past so well. Lilith explained that he was one of the 5 elders. The giant monster immediately attacked Robin, forcing the others to take the blow. Nami ran to carry Robin away, while the remaining crew members unanimously declared, "No matter what happens, we will definitely protect her." Meanwhile, Luffy was still fleeing from pursuit. Warcury asked Marcus Mars about the broadcast location, but he still hadn't found it. Jew Peter was also searching all over the ground without finding anything. No one expected Vegapunk to cause so much trouble. Off the coast, Navy warships continued their fierce bombardment. The entire island was on fire, but nothing could stop the broadcast. Vegapunk said that his statement might make many people laugh, but nevertheless, everyone had the right to know the truth. In another room, York was trying to find the broadcasting device. She was confident that, since she was also a Vegapunk, she would soon find it. However, too many fake transponder snails had been set up beforehand, making it impossible for Marcus Mars to distinguish the real ones. When someone suggested destroying the power plant, Saturn immediately objected because it would cause immeasurable consequences. Finally, Vegapunk delivered a conclusion that shook the entire world. All continents on Earth would be submerged to the bottom of the sea. That statement silenced everyone. The Gorosei were collectively enraged, while people all over the world could only watch in stunned silence.